Hi, sweet Taurus. Welcome to Starchaeology Tarot. I am Desi. I will be your Starchaeologist for this June reading as we dig deep and see what treasures, what mysteries June holds for you and how to best navigate those. How to best set you up for success and joy and fulfillment. This reading is good for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising. I also encourage you to watch any other videos for different signs for those placements in your chart. Also encourage you to cross-watch for someone that you love if you're curious what is going to be happening in their life in June. You can watch a video for a different person sign. Try it out. Lastly, before we jump into this, I just want to say I love you. I genuinely love you, and I'm so grateful that you are here and that we get this sacred time to connect over time and space. Even if it is through a screen, nothing stops energy, and I feel that from you, and I'm so grateful for it. Any intention you have for this reading, please take the time to set that intention now as I tune in and shuffle. Let's do this, Taurus. Bye for now. Taurus, this is blowing my mind. First of all, because this is not the first sign for June where I've pulled the Fool being in this spread, but not only in the spread, but in the very first position of this spread. June seems to be, for many people, a time of real beginnings, but not just beginnings, risk-taking. A leap of faith. That is launching off the month, and you are no different from some of these other signs that are experiencing this. It's not that surprising, simply because there are certain conditions of the world that we are all experiencing right now. So undergoing the same or experiencing these similar conditions or these same conditions are kind of putting us in similar positions. What blows my mind about your reading is that we're beginning with the Fool. We're also ending with the Fool. Two different decks. This is from the card in the very first position is the Fool. The card in the very last position of this reading is the Fool, which tells me that June is one big leap of faith for you. But it's not just it's a series of leaps of faith for you, and it's almost like a leveling up of leaps of faith, because the more leaps of faith that you take, the better you trust yourself, the more your world is cracked open, and the better you see yourself for the leader that you really are, the guide that you really are, guiding yourself into the wilderness here, guiding yourself off the cliff. And I'm saying you, but that term is completely interchangeable with your higher self. This is your higher self that is leading you in this. This is where faith lives in you, which is always in the most spiritual place of you. It is your higher self. It is your connection to the spiritual, to other realms, and that is where this desire to leave these city walls, leave what you have known, be brave enough to say goodbye to certain structures, certain routines, and maybe convention that you have become comfortable with, used to, saying goodbye to those things. Not in a way like, oh, I'll never come back to those, but more like, I've learned a lot within those city walls, and now I want to see what's beyond them, so that I can expand my awareness. that expansion of awareness, that expansion of self, not only makes you learn and grow in the wilderness outside the city, but then when you come back to the city, you see it with new eyes, because your expansion, yourself, you are expanded. You have an expanded awareness. You can't see the structure that you lived in before as the same. So I do see you as being like, maybe there's a situation that you are in right now that feels limiting, that you're like, I have to go outside of this in order to move beyond it, because it's maybe paralyzing right now. It may be keeping you very stagnant right now. And so instead of trying to change the city, you have the awareness to know, I have to change myself if I'm going to change my experience in this city. Real change starts internally. And so this Fool card is coming up to represent that adventure beyond what that city is, because that is the only way that we actually learn about ourselves. That is the only way we expand ourselves, by forcing ourselves outside of our comfort zones and seeing ourselves in a different context. This adventure and beginning for you might be incited by either some sort of love opportunity, someone coming into your life that you feel excited about, and that's not necessarily even romantic. It could just be a connection with a kindred spirit. It could be a friendship that you see blossoming, or that you just feel you have a feeling about this person, that there will be some sort of filling of your cup through this relationship. There will be some sort of emotional fulfillment here. Like many opportunities, we often feel fearful when saying yes to something new. And the Fool card is coming up because there is an element for this opportunity, whatever it is that this person brings, or it could just be a message that is coming to you that immediately affects your heart. You hear this message and you're like, my heart is what is being moved by these words. That is what the Page of Cups brings. And with that message comes some sort of opportunity for change for you. With that message comes the promise of a new adventure. With it comes the invitation to take a leap of faith. And when opportunity like that comes, fear often comes too, because any leap of faith, by definition, it's happening, it's rooted in faith. It's not, if it were supported by fact, it wouldn't be a leap. It wouldn't require any faith. It would just seem like the logical thing to do. But faith means there being a lack of fact. It by definition involves great mystery, a sense of mysticism, and that is when we have to turn to our higher selves, to our intuition, to guide us. And with that comes fear of looking foolish sometimes, of failing at first. But the truth is that no adventure is started without looking foolish. No adventure is started without failing. So if you start something and you begin as a failure, then you are beginning as every other beginner has ever begun in history. It means you're doing it right. You are saying yes to the adventure. And you're beginning, and you're starting from the true place of this naive beginner. But I think it's important to address that the Fool doesn't care about being called a fool in the beginning. The Fool completely accepts herself as being a beginner. She accepts herself as being a fool. Her focus, her guiding light is the joy of doing it, not the result. It's the answering the calling of just knowing, I have to do this. I'm going to do it. It doesn't matter how I look doing it. That is what you honor by saying yes to this opportunity. And yes, you risk looking like a fool, but the reward is so much greater than that, because you have the promise of this adventure. You have the promise of this new beginning that can lead you into such an expanded state of self, and an expanded spirituality, an expanded perspective of the world, an expanded consciousness, that you can only ever benefit from that kind of expansion. So whatever this opportunity is, this opportunity in love, this opportunity in friendship, it is good news for your heart. It is good news for your heart. And it is not foolish to say yes to it. It is not foolish to accept it. How do you get over the fear of possibly being made the fool? You do that by nurturing your greatest dream. You do that by mothering, nurturing this happily ever after ending. 10 of Cups we have paired with the Queen of Pentacles. So there is a real sense of self-care here that needs to happen, a very tangible mothering of yourself, but also I see of your home. I mean, this 10 of Cups represents this happy home. So if you already are in this happy home, if you are already living this dream, the advice here is calling you, it's saying you can adventure beyond convention while still feeling stable in the good that you have, in this stable foundation that you have, in these people, in this beautiful day, in all of the little things that you have already to feel grateful for, because you have so much to feel grateful for. Your place in this happy family, I think for many of you, especially being earth signs, this is the Queen of Pentacles, many of you find alignment by being nurturers, by caring for others in very physical, measurable ways, as opposed to immeasurable, like emotional support or mindful support, through conversation and thought challenging and things that exist in more of an the realm of air or water. This is really tangible, concrete support that you provide to people. The way that a mother will tuck a child in at night, puts the child in their bed and tucks them in. Sorry, I have something in my throat. You know how to provide those blankets to people. You know how to really tuck a person in and make them feel safe. Despite any perhaps internal lack of safety that they feel. It's like, and I think a lot of people right now are feeling a lack of stability, a lack of safety that just feels very vague and in the realm of thought and feeling. But you have a very special power of making people feel safe in spite of uncertainty in those realms, because you have you offer this kind of tangible support, love. You have these physical arms that you wrap around people and instantly make them feel safe. So you're doing this for this family, for the people that are closest to you. And I think feeling strength in this, feeling authority in this, feeling like the queen, the mother figure that you really are in this way. You're in touch with your femininity in this way. This is the earth aspect of the Empress card, like providing physical abundance for people. there's something very empowering in that. And I think that will be useful with your connection with this new person, this adventure with this, that you're starting with this new person, whether this is a romantic interest or a friend. You bring so much to the table. You bring a real authority. You bring a real authority in I'm hearing Queen Mother. And I know that's not what this means. Queen Mother is like the mother of the queen in monarchy terms. But this is, there's a really Queen Mother energy here. It's like even to other people who are nurturing, I'm hearing, even other people who are very nurturing and motherly, you're the mother of mothers. You mother them. You it's the superpower that you have. It's the superpower that you have. Oh my God, but I'm hearing this too. You are so quick to offer that to other people. Offer this to yourself. You can't create this happy family. You can't feel full harmony of this 10 of Cups without also applying that same sense of care, that same nurturing to yourself, because you are a crucial part of this. You are a crucial puzzle piece in this happily ever after puzzle. And you deserve to benefit from your own superpower that you offer to so many other people. You deserve that same love, that same devotion, that same kind of care that you give away so effortlessly to others. I'm hearing that some of you might feel like you want that from someone else. But if that is how you are feeling, first of all, that is valid. But I'm also hearing that there is a lesson here in understanding the illusion of separateness. There is no difference receiving that from yourself versus receiving it from someone else. Because what is so ironic is the people who receive that from themselves, the people who give that to themselves, they don't feel as much a need to receive it from other people, which then makes them just appreciate when they receive it from other people. It's almost like a given. Like, of course, someone would nurture me. I nurture myself. And that is rooted in understanding that it's no different. It doesn't matter where you get that from, because you are no different from someone else. You are no different from someone outside of you. You don't need to receive that from someone else. I'll rephrase that. You need to receive it from someone else until you realize you don't need to receive it from someone else. If that makes sense, I'll say that again. You need to receive that from someone else until you realize you don't need to receive that from someone else. Until you realize that someone else can be you. Looking at yourself through a different lens. You don't look at yourself and see yourself on a throne. You don't look at yourself normally and see yourself as this figure. Looking at yourself and seeing yourself as this figure, you're creating the illusion of other. You're creating the illusion of separateness. And then you're able maybe to receive that from yourself. That nurturing that you need. But I'm also hearing the same way that needs to be applied to yourself. It needs to be applied to this dream. If you don't feel secure in your family life, if you don't feel like you have this happily ever after home, this community, this family that is so strong, then this is representing a real dream for you right now. And this is a calling to rule over this dream. To command this dream into reality. And you do that by nurturing it, by mothering it, by watering it. You do it by creating it. in the most tangible, concrete ways that you can. Seeing how you create it for other people and using those same tactics on yourself, on your own home, on your own life. A dream has to be cared for. It needs to... This is a grounding of this dream. Grounding. Queen of Cups is, Queen of Pentacles. Is like saying water of earth. It is a grounding of feelings, which means by nurturing this dream you harness the power of manifestation and feeling the fulfillment before you actually see it manifest in front of you. It's not just about thinking about it. Visualizing is great. It's great to visualize this, but what's even better is to feel the way you would feel having it. And if you're not able to do that, if your imagination blocks you from doing that, then the key is using this superpower that you have and creating very tangible ways through your physical self-care that make you feel fulfilled. It's almost like a tricking of your brain. You can't imagine what you would feel like having this dream come true? Then do little things, bite-sized versions of this, that give you the feelings of that fulfillment so that you can be vibrating at that frequency all the time and therefore be attracting a similar frequency to you. The frequency of the very high frequency of this dream come true, of this happily ever after, of this light. I'm just back now on this. Ending with this Fool is really blowing my mind. So I'm just gonna say, this beginning Fool card, you see the city behind her. It's like leaving convention, leaving the logical, leaving this structure, this routine behind, for the sake of venturing into your wild unknown, the uncharted territory of your own personal expansion. In this Fool card, we have the mountains behind him. By the end of June, you are far away from the city that you left behind. You are in wilderness now. You are in this uncharted land. And this is like a leveling up of a leap of faith. It's like, you've made that leap of faith, now you're gonna take a leap of faith away from this world that you've barely become accustomed to, the mountains. You haven't even figured out the structure of this. You haven't necessarily outgrown the structure of this, the routine of this yet, of these mountains. They still might feel unknown to you. This still might feel like unknown territory. And yet there might be another opportunity that comes to you like wildfire. So swift. With this is paired with the Eight of Wands. An opportunity, good news that comes to you at the end of June that is going to strike you in a way that's like, oh, this is calling me to take another leap of faith. Just when I took my first one. It's a real test of faith, because we take that leap of faith and then when we do it, we wait for logic to catch up. We wait for the facts to catch up. We wait for things to manifest to show us, oh yeah, to prove, oh, I was right in taking this. You're not even going to have time to wait to see if you were right in taking this leap of faith. And I think a key here is because there is no right or wrong. It's a trust in the path that you are taking as being the path that is meant to be taken by you right now. You're not going to have time to evaluate, to fully evaluate the repercussions of this leap of faith before you are called again to take another one. This is a month of beginnings for you, a month of like an inception of adventures. You take one adventure and then it's incepted. It's an inception of like another adventure within an adventure. That is what June is looking like for you, and it's a real challenge in saying yes, and trusting that these things are coming to you. This Page of Cups is coming to you, this messenger, but also this messenger, this Eight of Wands, is coming to you for a reason, because it is coming to you to affirm that the path that you are on is the one that is going to align you with everything it is that you want. This is Eight of Wands. This is our only fire card here. This has to do with soul purpose. Your soul purpose in life. This is all bringing you closer to your soul purpose. To this higher path, this higher purpose. To Dharma. It is also bringing you closer to what you have already stated that you want. I'm hearing that you have put out to the universe, this is what I want. This is what I want. And often we say that to the universe and we don't specify how we want to get it. We leave that up to the universe to figure out the how. So when the universe figures out a way, don't then immediately doubt the way that is presented to you. The universe has figured out the way. Your job is to say yes to it. It's a conversation that you're having. You said you wanted this. The universe says, okay, I'm going to figure out how. Here's the first step of the way. Take the first step. Take the first step. It is a leap of faith. It does require faith. But if you are able to approach it with true Fool energy, the disposition, the perspective of a child, the way that a child goes into everything optimistically, there is no fear of failure when you're young enough. The fear of failure is learned. But look to a child trying something new for the joy of trying it, with a complete lack of self-consciousness. Because there is that shows us that there is nothing inherently bad about looking like a fool or being a failure. In fact, those things are our greatest strengths, how we come through those moments, and whether we get back up again and try again. The consciousness of being the fool is sometimes what keeps us on the ground. So this is a real call to harness that Fool energy, to harness that naivete of a small child who doesn't have the self-consciousness yet, who hasn't learned that self-consciousness yet. That fear of looking silly, that fear of failure. You have every reason to go into this adventure and then another adventure, and who knows, this is, like I said, this is an inception of adventures for you. I'm hearing this being a cycle. There's like there is a repetition in June of launching adventures for you, of saying yes and yes and yes. And the more you are able to do that with the pure, unadulterated joy of a child, the complete ignorance of the existence of failure, then the better it will serve you, and the sooner it will bring you to what it is that you want, what it is that you have said to the universe. This is my happily ever after. This is what I'm working towards. It will bring you closer to that all the more quickly. Taurus, I hope that this was helpful. This is an incredibly positive reading. And there's just such symmetry here. I mean, having June being bookended for you by the Fool is it's just beautiful. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm yawning. It's just really beautiful. It also, there's just real poetry in it, in that when we're living our life, I think, in the way that serves us best, we go through continual cycles where we start at zero over and over again, where we start at square one. And when we're able to really embrace being at zero again and approach it without any bias, without any jadedness from past experience, that is when we are able to grow the most, because children grow the most. It is so much harder to teach an old dog new tricks, especially if they are resisting the beginnings that are natural, that happen throughout life. You know, if you find yourself at square one, if you find yourself at this zero, but you're saying, no, I can't be at zero and I won't be at zero because look at all I've achieved and look at how far I've come. It's like this blatant resistance and denial to the present moment for you, to, as Eckhart Tolle says, the isness of now, like what actually is right now. The sooner you're able to say, oh, okay, this is a beginning, I'm at a zero again, then you open yourself up to the most incredible and potentially rewarding self-expansion that you've experienced yet, because I think that these zeros have a potential to build on each other. These adventures have the potential to build on each other in a very positive way, as long as we let go, we surrender to them without resistance. Thank you so much. If you liked this video, if you found this helpful, please like and subscribe. Please share this channel with anyone that you feel could use a little extra support and love during this tough time. That's why I'm doing this. I love you. I really, really love you. I'm so grateful for you. And thank you for being here. It means so much to me.